Doom ecology refers to an extreme environmental philosophy that advocates for the acceleration of ecological destruction. This concept applies accelerationist principles to environmental issues, proposing that rapid degradation of the Earth's ecosystems is necessary for eventual regeneration. Proponents argue that current environmental damage is inevitable and should be intensified to hasten a global ecological collapse. The theory suggests that only through catastrophic environmental breakdown can humanity be forced to confront and ultimately solve ecological crises. Supporters of doom ecology believe that gradual environmental efforts are ineffective and that drastic measures are required to initiate meaningful change. This perspective draws parallels with the concept of creative destruction in economics, where old systems must be demolished to make way for new, more efficient ones. Some adherents argue that accelerated environmental decline could lead to rapid technological advancements in areas like geoengineering and sustainable energy. Critics of doom ecology warn that such an approach could lead to irreversible damage and the potential extinction of numerous species, including humans. The theory challenges conventional environmental activism, proposing that efforts to slow ecological damage may ultimately prolong unsustainable practices. Doveland, Wisconsin refers to an alleged town in Wisconsin that supposedly vanished without a trace in the 1990s. Some believe Doveland was located in central Wisconsin before its mysterious disappearance. Proponents claim the town and all its residents vanished overnight, leaving no historical records or map evidence behind. Various theories attempt to explain Doveland's fate, including natural disasters like sinkholes or earthquakes. More supernatural explanations suggest an ancient curse caused the town to disappear as punishment. Some theorize Doveland still exists, but is invisible, with its ghostly outlines occasionally visible to observers. More mundane possibilities include the town being destroyed by damming projects or abandoned due to population decline. Military-related theories propose Doveland was a secret base that was decommissioned or destroyed in an experiment gone wrong. Believers point to claimed souvenirs like t-shirts and mugs as evidence of Doveland's former existence. The lack of official documentation or maps showing Doveland presents a major challenge to proving its reality. Online discussions about Doveland only seem to date back to around 2015, raising questions about the story's origins. Some report strange Google search suggestions related to Doveland, though this may be due to personalized algorithms. Dowsing refers to the practice of using divining rods or pendulums to locate underground water, minerals, or other hidden objects. Practitioners claim these tools respond to subtle energy fields or vibrations emitted by the target substances. The technique has been used for centuries, with historical records dating back to the 15th century in Europe. Some dowsers report success rates significantly higher than chance, citing personal experiences and anecdotal evidence. Scientific studies have produced mixed results, with some showing positive outcomes while others attribute successes to chance or subconscious cues. Proponents argue that dowsing taps into innate human sensitivities that science has yet to fully understand or measure. The military has occasionally employed dowsing techniques, including during the Vietnam War to locate underground tunnels and weapon caches. Water companies in some countries still use dowsing as part of their methods for finding new water sources. Geologists and archaeologists have reported using dowsing to complement traditional surveying techniques in certain cases. Some researchers propose that dowsing may work through ideomotor responses, where subtle muscle movements guide the rods or pendulum. The persistent use of dowsing across cultures and time periods suggests it may have some practical value, even if the mechanism remains unclear. Critics argue that successful dowsing results can be explained by confirmation bias, prior knowledge of the area, or geological indicators visible to experienced practitioners. Dr. Emoto's water experiments refer to studies conducted by Japanese researcher Masaru Emoto on the effects of human consciousness on water's molecular structure. Emoto claimed that water exposed to positive thoughts, words, or music formed beautiful and complex ice crystals when frozen. Conversely, he reported that water exposed to negative influences produced distorted and aesthetically unpleasing crystal formations. His experiments involved exposing water samples to various stimuli, including spoken words, written labels, music, and even prayer. Photographs of the resulting ice crystals were published in Emoto's books, gaining widespread attention and sparking discussions about water's potential consciousness. Proponents argue that these experiments demonstrate water's ability to respond to and store information from its environment. Some supporters view this as evidence of a deeper connection between human consciousness and the physical world. Emoto's work has been embraced by some alternative health practitioners, who use it to support theories about the healing properties of intention and positive thinking. Critics point out that Emoto's experiments lacked rigorous scientific controls and have not been successfully replicated under controlled conditions. Skeptics suggest that the observed crystal patterns could be the result of selection bias in choosing which images to publish. Some researchers have attempted to build upon Emoto's work, exploring potential subtle energetic properties of water through more controlled experimental designs. Dr. Robert Morse is a naturopathic practitioner known for his controversial approach to healing through detoxification and herbal remedies. He advocates for a fruit-based diet and fasting as primary methods for cleansing the body of toxins and treating various diseases. Morse claims that most health issues stem from acidosis and the accumulation of waste in the lymphatic system. His theories propose that fruits and herbs can effectively alkalize the body and stimulate the lymphatic system to remove toxins. Supporters of Morse's methods report significant improvements in chronic conditions, including cancer, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders. Morse's teachings emphasize the body's innate ability to heal itself when provided with the right conditions and nutrients. He has developed a line of herbal formulas designed to target specific organs and systems within the body. Critics argue that Morse's approach lacks scientific evidence and may be dangerous for certain health conditions. Some of Morse's followers claim to have reversed serious illnesses through his protocols, though these accounts are largely anecdotal. Morse's work draws on principles from various alternative healing traditions, including Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. He asserts that modern medical practices often treat symptoms rather than addressing the root causes of disease. While controversial in mainstream medical circles, Morse's ideas have gained a significant following in the alternative health community. Dream hacking refers to the practice of manipulating or controlling one's dreams through various techniques and technologies. Some researchers believe it's possible to influence dream content and even achieve lucid dreaming states reliably. Advocates point to studies showing that external stimuli like sounds or smells can be incorporated into dreams when timed correctly during sleep cycles. Advanced brain-computer interfaces may someday allow more direct control over dream narratives and experiences. Proponents suggest dream hacking could be used for processing trauma, enhancing creativity, or even as a form of entertainment. Critics argue that interfering with natural sleep patterns could have negative health consequences, and that dreams serve important biological functions. Despite limited scientific evidence, some people report success using methods like reality checks, meditation, and dream journals to increase dream awareness and control. Dreamshocking is a theoretical technique aimed at altering dream content through electrical stimulation of the brain during sleep. Proponents believe that by applying mild electrical currents to specific areas of the brain, it's possible to influence or even control dream narratives. Some researchers have reported success in inducing lucid dreams using transcranial direct current stimulation during REM sleep. Advocates argue that dreamshocking could potentially be used to treat nightmares, enhance problem-solving abilities, or explore subconscious thoughts. The concept is based on studies showing that external stimuli can be incorporated into dreams when applied at the right moment in the sleep cycle. While still largely theoretical, dreamshocking draws on established neuroscience principles and the growing field of brain-computer interfaces. Critics warn of potential risks, including disruption of normal sleep patterns and unforeseen psychological effects from manipulating dream content. Some individuals report experiencing more vivid or controllable dreams after experimenting with DIY devices. The driver-killed JFK theory posits that President John F. Kennedy's assassination was carried out by his own limousine driver, Secret Service agent William Greer. Proponents of this theory point to anomalies in the Zapruder film, particularly a moment where Greer appears to turn and look back at Kennedy just before the fatal shot. Some argue that careful analysis of the film shows Greer holding a chrome-plated revolver, which they claim is visible for a fraction of a second. Supporters of this theory suggest that Greer's actions were part of a larger conspiracy involving elements within the U.S. government. They cite the fact that Greer's testimony to the Warren Commission contained inconsistencies and that he was never thoroughly investigated as a potential suspect. The theory gained traction in part due to the general distrust of official explanations surrounding Kennedy's assassination and the perceived implausibility of the lone gunman narrative. As opposed to the driver theory, the multiple shooter theory suggests a complex web of conspirators, including unexpected participants like the presidential limousine driver and First Lady Jackie Kennedy. Proponents of this theory claim that Secret Service agent William Greer used a CIA-supplied pneumatic gun to silently shoot Kennedy with a small bullet containing fish toxins. This initial shot is said to have incapacitated the president, setting the stage for the more visible headshot from the grassy knoll. Some theorists believe the fatal blow was actually delivered from a storm drain under the grassy knoll. Some versions of this theory also implicate Jackie Kennedy, proposing that she used a Derringer palm pistol, allegedly provided by an unidentified woman at the airport, to fire at her husband. Supporters of this theory point to alleged inconsistencies in the official narrative and claim that careful analysis of footage from the day reveals subtle movements and actions by both Greer and Jackie that support their involvement. They argue that the use of multiple shooters with different weapons explains the conflicting witness accounts and medical evidence from the assassination. Believers in this theory suggest that the involvement of such close members of Kennedy's entourage indicates a far-reaching conspiracy involving high-level government officials and intelligence agencies. Dulce Base refers to an alleged secret underground facility near Dulce, New Mexico, that some believe houses extraterrestrial beings and advanced technologies. Proponents claim the base consists of multiple underground levels where humans and aliens conduct joint research and experiments. Some theorists point to unusual cattle mutilations in the area as evidence of alien activity linked to the base. Former law enforcement officials have reported seeing strange aerial phenomena and unexplained objects near Dulce. Believers cite alleged insider accounts from individuals claiming to have worked at or witnessed the base firsthand. The remote location and proximity to other conspiracy hotspots like Area 51 have fueled speculation about government secrecy in the region. Dwarves' secret society refers to the belief that a hidden community of small-statured individuals exists, operating covertly within mainstream society. Proponents suggest these dwarves possess ancient knowledge and advanced technologies, passed down through generations. Some theorists point to unexplained archaeological findings, such as miniature tools and structures, as evidence of a long-standing dwarf civilization. Believers often cite folklore and mythological accounts of dwarves from various cultures as historical records rather than mere stories. Certain conspiracy theorists claim that dwarves have infiltrated positions of power in governments and corporations, influencing world events from the shadows. Supporters of this theory sometimes interpret the disproportionate representation of dwarves in entertainment as a form of controlled disclosure of their existence. Some proponents argue that remote mountainous regions house secret dwarf communities, explaining occasional sightings and perpetuating their mystique. The Dyatlov Pass incident refers to the mysterious deaths of 9 experienced hikers in the Ural Mountains of Russia in 1959. The bodies of the hikers were found in various states of undress, with some exhibiting unexplained injuries and high levels of radiation. Investigators noted that the group's tent had been cut open from the inside, suggesting they fled in panic from an unknown threat. Some of the victims had crushed ribs and fractured skulls, despite no signs of a struggle or external wounds. Eyewitnesses reported seeing strange orange spheres in the sky near the area on the night of the incident. The Soviet government's swift closure of the case and subsequent classification of documents fueled speculation about a cover-up. Theories range from avalanches and secret weapon tests to paranormal activity and extraterrestrial involvement. The unusual nature of the injuries, including one victim missing her tongue, has led some to suggest an encounter with an unknown creature. Recent investigations have proposed infrasound-induced panic or a rare type of avalanche as potential explanations, but doubts remain. Dyson sphere built around Alpha Centauri refers to a hypothetical megastructure constructed to completely encompass a star in the Alpha Centauri system, capturing all of its energy output. Proponents suggest using star-lifted material from Alpha Centauri b to construct both a Dyson sphere and a rotating ring world, providing vast living space and energy. The concept involves using the mass of one star to hold a ring world in place around the other star, leveraging the gravitational forces between them. Supporters argue this could serve as a way to store a star's hydrogen for future use, essentially banking energy for when our own sun expires. The proposed ring world would rotate once every 10 days to generate Earth-like gravity, with an artificial day-night cycle created by the sphere's energy collection and redistribution. Advocates claim this project could provide a solution for long-term human habitation and energy needs as we expand into nearby star systems. Some theorists believe that constructing such a megastructure in a neighboring system would be preferable to altering our own solar system, preserving Earth's environment. Earth is bigger than the Sun refers to an alternative cosmological view that challenges conventional understanding of planetary and stellar sizes. Proponents of this theory argue that visual observations and certain calculations support the idea that Earth's true size is vastly underestimated. Some believers point to the apparent size of the Sun and Moon in the sky, claiming they appear too small to be as large as mainstream science states. Supporters often cite the flat Earth model, suggesting that the Sun and Moon are local objects circling above a much larger plane. Theorists sometimes use perspective and optical illusion arguments to explain why the Sun appears to be larger when viewed from space. Some adherents claim that NASA and other space agencies are part of a conspiracy to hide the true nature of Earth's size and importance in the cosmos. Proponents occasionally reference ancient texts and mythologies that describe Earth as the center and largest body in the universe to support their views. Earth-universe theory proposes that our planet is not merely a celestial body within the cosmos, but rather encompasses the entirety of existence itself. Proponents argue that what we perceive as the universe is actually contained within Earth's structure, with celestial bodies being internal features of our planet. Some adherents point to the holographic principle in physics, suggesting that the universe we observe may be a projection from Earth's surface. Supporters often cite the similarities between microscopic structures and cosmic formations as evidence of Earth's all-encompassing nature. This theory sometimes incorporates elements of hollow Earth ideas, proposing that space and other planets exist within Earth's interior. Believers argue that this perspective explains phenomena like gravity and the apparent movement of celestial bodies without the need for complex astrophysical theories. Some proponents claim that ancient cultures possessed this knowledge, citing mythologies that describe Earth as the container of all existence. Eating food makes you age is a theory suggesting that the act of consuming food directly contributes to the aging process. Proponents argue that digestion and metabolism create harmful byproducts and free radicals that damage cells over time. Some supporters point to studies on calorie restriction in animals, which have shown increased lifespans in certain species when food intake is limited. The theory often cites the concept of oxidative stress, proposing that the energy production from food leads to cumulative cellular damage. Believers sometimes reference the practice of fasting in various cultures and religions as evidence of ancestral wisdom regarding food's aging effects. Some adherents claim that specific foods, particularly those high in sugar or processed ingredients, accelerate aging more than others. Proponents often suggest that reducing food intake or practicing intermittent fasting can slow down the aging process and extend lifespan. Edison Mor Island, also known as Hannon's Lighthouse, refers to a purported hidden landmass in the Atlantic Ocean, allegedly discovered by Thomas Edison and kept secret for strategic reasons. Proponents claim that Edison stumbled upon this island during one of his lesser-known maritime expeditions in the late 19th century. The island is said to house an advanced lighthouse designed by Edison himself, utilizing revolutionary technology far ahead of its time. Some theorists argue that the US government has deliberately omitted the island from maps to maintain its secrecy and strategic advantage. Believers point to unexplained maritime incidents and navigational anomalies in the Atlantic as potential evidence of the island's existence. The theory often incorporates elements of advanced energy technology, suggesting that Edison's lighthouse harnesses a powerful, unknown energy source. Supporters sometimes cite declassified documents with redacted information about Atlantic naval operations as indirect proof of the island's concealment. Eggless travel refers to a theoretical method of human reproduction and space colonization that eliminates the need for transporting fertilized eggs or embryos over long distances. Proponents suggest using advanced genetic engineering to encode human DNA into more stable forms, such as bacterial spores or synthetic molecules. This concept proposes that entire human genomes could be compressed and stored in microscopic, radiation-resistant containers for interstellar travel. Supporters argue that eggless travel would solve issues of genetic damage during long-term space missions and reduce the biological constraints of colonization. The theory often incorporates ideas from synthetic biology, suggesting that human genomes could be reconstructed and grown in artificial wombs upon reaching a destination. Some researchers point to advancements in DNA data storage and synthetic genomics as potential stepping stones towards realizing this concept. Advocates claim that eggless travel could significantly reduce the payload mass for interstellar missions, making such journeys more feasible. Eilean Mor Island, home to Flannan's Lighthouse, is the site of an unsolved mystery involving the disappearance of 3 lighthouse keepers in December 1900. The lighthouse keepers vanished without a trace, leaving behind half-eaten meals and unmade beds, suggesting a sudden and unexplained departure. Investigators found the lighthouse in perfect working order, with no signs of a struggle or forced entry, deepening the mystery surrounding the event. Some theories propose that a massive rogue wave swept the men away, though skeptics point out the lack of damage to the lighthouse structure. Eyewitness accounts from a passing ship reported seeing the lighthouse dark during the period of the keeper's disappearance, contradicting official records. Paranormal explanations have emerged, with some claiming the island is haunted or subject to extraterrestrial activity. Local folklore speaks of an ancient curse on the island, which some believe may have played a role in the keeper's fate. Elisa Lam refers to a mysterious death case that occurred at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles in 2013. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance and the discovery of her body in the hotel's water tank have led to numerous conspiracy theories. Some believe that Lam was involved in a covert biological weapons test, citing the tuberculosis outbreak in the area shortly after her death. The unusual elevator footage showing Lam's erratic behavior has been interpreted by some as evidence of paranormal activity or possession. Others speculate that Lam was murdered by a hotel employee or another guest, pointing to the difficulty of accessing the water tank without inside knowledge. The coincidence that a tuberculosis test shares the name Lam Elisa has fueled theories of a government cover-up or bioweapon experiment. Some researchers claim that Lam's social media posts prior to her death contain hidden messages or codes, suggesting she was involved in espionage. The hotel's dark history and connection to other famous crimes have led some to believe that Lam's death is part of a larger pattern of sinister events. Elite controls the population with our permission refers to a theory that powerful groups manipulate society with the unwitting consent of the masses. The pervasive nature of advertising and media is seen as a tool for shaping public opinion and behavior in ways that benefit the elite. Education systems are often cited as a means of indoctrinating individuals from a young age to conform to societal norms that serve the interests of those in power. Theorists claim that the illusion of choice in democratic systems masks the reality of limited options, all ultimately serving the same elite interests. The widespread acceptance of debt as a normal part of life is viewed as a form of economic control, keeping the population dependent on the financial system controlled by elites. Social media and surveillance technologies are considered tools for gathering data on individuals, which can then be used to further refine methods of control and manipulation. Believers point to the gradual erosion of privacy rights and civil liberties, which they claim is accepted by the public due to carefully cultivated fears and desires. The concept of bread and circuses from ancient Rome is invoked, suggesting that entertainment and basic provisions are used to pacify the masses and distract them from underlying power structures. Elvis is alive refers to the enduring conspiracy theory that the king of rock and roll did not die on August 16, 1977, but instead faked his death and went into hiding. Believers point to alleged inconsistencies in the official reports of Elvis's death, including discrepancies in the autopsy findings and death certificate. Some claim to have seen Elvis in various locations around the world years after his reported death, with sightings ranging from supermarkets to remote islands. Theorists argue that Elvis had numerous reasons to fake his death, including escaping the pressures of fame, avoiding financial troubles, or even entering witness protection. The fact that Elvis's middle name was misspelled on his gravestone is cited by some as evidence that the burial was a hoax. Proponents of the theory often reference a pool house recording from 1981, allegedly featuring Elvis's voice, as proof that he survived beyond 1977. Some believers claim that differences in handwriting samples from before and after Elvis's reported death indicate he is still alive and signing autographs. The secrecy surrounding Elvis's autopsy and the sealing of his medical records until 2027 have fueled speculation about what might be hidden in these documents. Theorists point to the continued active management of Elvis's estate and image rights as potential evidence that he is still involved in decision-making behind the scenes. Some argue that Elvis's fascination with spirituality and his alleged interest in transcendental meditation could have led him to seek a new life away from the public eye. Emergency broadcast neutralizers refer to theoretical devices or technologies designed to disrupt or block emergency alert systems. These neutralizers are believed by some to be capable of intercepting and canceling out official emergency broadcast signals before they reach the general public. Proponents of this concept argue that such devices could be used by various groups, from government agencies to private organizations, to control the flow of critical information during emergencies. Some theorists point to unexplained interruptions or failures in emergency alert systems as potential evidence of neutralizer technology in action. The existence of electromagnetic pulse (EMP) weapons lends credibility to the idea that broadcast signals could be deliberately disrupted on a large scale. Conspiracy theorists sometimes cite the development of advanced signal jamming technologies by military and intelligence agencies as a basis for the plausibility of emergency broadcast neutralizers. Some believers argue that the ability to selectively block emergency broadcasts could be used to manipulate public perception and behavior during crises. The concept of emergency broadcast neutralizers often intersects with theories about government cover-ups and the suppression of information during disasters or other significant events. Proponents sometimes reference declassified documents on psychological operations and information warfare as indirect evidence supporting the potential existence of such technologies. The increasing reliance on digital and wireless communication for emergency alerts has led some to speculate about the vulnerability of these systems to sophisticated neutralizing techniques.